rocking the Jam Man. It's with CJ Graham. How you doing, man?
Hey, Rockin' Jam Man, what's going on?
Nada, man. Just enjoying the live.
Liking that outfit there. You're pretty sparkly.
Thanks, man. So you got your role as Jason because the studio thought that Dan Bradley was a pussy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Dan and I were both up for the part. Dan got the part, and the dailies came back, and you know the character wasn't being brought to life as the studios wanted it to. So when the first daily came back, you know, it just wasn't the performance they were looking for. Unfortunately, and fortunately for me, you know, 4 or 5 days later, I was on set doing a movie, and here we are talking about it 3 decades later.
You were a nightclub owner, and you were doing a bit as Jason at the club. What was the thing?
Well, I was running nightclubs in LA at that time, and I had a hypnotist on stage on Thursday nights. And they decided to bring in a production crew to shoot because he wanted to put a production tape together. It just happens that people that came in were called Real Effects, and they did all the special effects on part 4 with Ted White. So they made a comment to the Jack Lachlan, the hypnotist, why don't we do a scary scene with Jason and we'll put CJ in the wardrobe, break through the screen, you know, add some real pizzazz to it. And honestly, the rest is history. Here we are.
But acting was not really your thing. Why did you have such a limited career?
Well, to define the word limited, acting wasn't my career like you said. I didn't even know what it was all about. I actually went to LA to look at LAPD. So when I fell into the Jason thing, it was kind of cool. Now let's remember, I'm 6'3", 250. Tom Cruise is 5'8". Stallone is 5'11". They really don't want to stand next to me on a movie screen. So when you think about it, most of your premium actors are 5'8", 90s, 5'10". They don't really go much bigger than that. There's a few of us that have been. Now, as history has shown you, as we've gotten bigger, we've got some pretty big people. Derek Mears, and we've got Tyler Mane and Halloween. They're like 6'6". Kim, who did Friday the 13th, Freddy versus Jason, he is 6'6", and they even put him in a 2-inch platform, making him 6'8" for the movie. But back in the 80s, you know what, most mainstream actors didn't want to stand next to a big person. So I did a Highway to Hell film, I did 5 or 6 national commercials, and then I decided to go back in the casino industry and operate casinos.
But you started acting right before the pandemic, right?
Well, I retired 6 years ago, so I started doing some fun things, some independence. So I got to do a film, Vengeance, and Vengeance 1 and 2, which I played Jason Voorhees' father. I grew a beard for 5 months, long hair, about your length, all straggy, but you know, silver. And then I did a film for Deborah Voorhees, 13 Fanboy with Corey Feldman, Laura Park Lincoln, Kane Hodder, and several other horror icons. And then I've been involved in a couple called Slice and others that are coming up. And it's more now just a hobby, you know, because when you're younger, you look at it as just the career I want. For me, it wasn't that it just wasn't feasible. Again, I'm too big to be a, you know, I mean, I'm honestly bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I'm 6'3", he's 6'1.5". So mathematics don't work out well.
What was it like working with Alice Cooper?
Alice is the best. The crazy thing about Alice Cooper is I still remember my very first concert when I was 16, 1973. And I went to Alice Cooper's concert. Welcome to My Nightmare, I believe it was called. And then to be able to work with him in 86 was a pleasure. I still see him approximately every year when we're at a convention. And we do photo ops. I'll put the full wardrobe on and do a complete photo op with Alice Cooper and the fans. But man's a gentleman. Obviously, he's got a lot of history in his background, Hall of Fame. So what an honor, again, not to be a principal in the acting industry, but the opportunity to meet so many great people.
You run casinos now, and have for a long time. Have you ever broke anyone's leg for cheating?
That's my Jason look. No, I have. You know, the interesting thing about running casinos is, yes, I was a chief operating officer, I was a general manager. I was fortunate enough to have, give or take, 23 employees. I really enjoyed the casino industry. It was really a great opportunity. I think I participated in helping advance a lot of careers. I know 3 people right now that have worked for me that are all general managers and chief operating officers today of their own casino resorts. So there's some pride there. So I think I was hopefully able to advance some others in the industry.
Do you think you can give me a nice stay when I'm in town?
A nice stay?
Yeah, like a nice comp.
You mean a suite?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice comp. Well, since I'm retired, that means I got to make some phone calls. But I still have some juice. Is the question. In fact, my daughter just went to see a nice concert a few weeks ago.
Now, they wanted you to be in Freddy vs. Jason, but you didn't want the role because you wanted your buddy Kane older to get that role. Is that right?
It is, it's complicated. Everybody says it's complicated. I was approached. Management liked me from part 6, and they did want to go. I'm a little bit larger than Kane. They wanted to look for a new character, but twofold. Number one, Kane already had done 4, and Kane has been a great ambassador for the Friday the 13th series. He's really put his heart and soul into the character and the convention circuit that we're in today. So I've got to really kudos to him. The secondary part, I was, at the time, I was chief operating officer of 2 different casino resorts. And it didn't seem logical monetarily to quit my job fully and go do 8 or 9 weeks of shooting a movie for a little bit of money, and then be unemployed. So at the time I passed on it. It was something of interest, but monetarily I was at the top of my career as a executive in the casino industry. It just didn't make logical sense.
Then they sadly screwed Kane over and gave it to someone else.
Well, part 6, as I said earlier, Kane didn't get it. Ken got it, but they kind of wanted to look for a bigger person. So when Ken got it, I've met Ken many times, and I've done photo ops with Ken. He is 6'6" normally, and as I indicated, they put him in a 2-inch platform made him 6'8". He's huge when he's in wardrobe. Even I look up to him. And I did a photo op with him a couple years ago, and I looked at Ken, damn, you're huge. I mean, I didn't want to stand next to him, he was so big. But he said they got me in a platform, so he still wears those platforms. So when you meet him, and he does wardrobe with the fans, he's a monster.
If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Oh, that's easy. Steak, baked potato, apple pie, and a big glass of milk.
How are you going out? Are you dying in prison?
Oh, I'm old. But I want to remind you, electricity might bring me back. Think about that.
Yeah, Jason. You got that Jason.
Right.
If you could choose your next project based on your idea, what would it be?
If I've been asked by Tom McLaughlin, who has written a script for Jason Never Dies for a Part 13 concept to resurrect the platform of the Jason series, and if I had the physicality to be able to do it and deliver as good or better than Part 6, I'd engage. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to be the person that's done a great job and has been, and I'm trying to come back and kick some butt. But I think it'd be nice to be able to do something like that, because 6, I think, was a fan favorite. And if 13 is as well as it should be, and it's going to be a launching platform for the next Friday the 13th generation, it would be nice to participate in that.
Do you think Jason's story's over? Because, like, remember when they made the futuristic Jason, like how they ended it? Do you think his story's kind of over? Because I don't know what you could do other to make like a sequel off of that.
Well, Tom McLaughlin, who wrote Jason Lives, has a script, Jason Never Dies. When you relaunch a series like Friday the 13th, in theory, if you relaunched it and brought him back from the water and started a universal series of it, you could start from Part 6 into Part 7 and recapture back fantasy of it and go forward. The fan generations, I mean, I have people come up to me that are 4 years old that are Jason fans. I have people that are my age, and everybody like you in between that knows who Jason Voorhees is.
What is next for you?
Pardon me?
What is next for you?
Well, I'm retired. I retired 6 years ago, so now that I'm having fun, I'm doing the convention circuit. Not too many, but a few. I don't want to overstay my welcome. If I can get a part that's going to be fun, it's not of monetary expectations. It's if I can assist in somebody else doing a film that's going to have my name may draw a little bit, then that's my job. I'm retired. I have a ranch in Montana. I have horses. I have alpacas and bees. I've been married for many years, and my girls are in their 20s. My boy is 27. So for me, it's just, I giggle when I say this, but probably in the last 10% of my life, 66, So I've enjoyed the first 90%, and I'm just going to relax the last 10, do what I can to work with you on your podcast, and meet others that I can, and I do quite a few of them. You know, if I can be helpful to somebody else, I've been lucky, I've been successful, but I always say I've been lucky.
How do my followers follow you?
Well, for me, it's real simple. You can just go to jason6.com, or you can just go to Jason Voorhees, and there's a website, of course, on top of Facebook. So, I mean, it's pretty live. I've got quite a lot of followers and stuff, and they're great folks. The interesting thing about Jason, to give you a closure, is, you know, I always say in India there's 1.3 billion people. If you take a picture of Tom Cruise and show it to them, they'll all say Tom Cruise. You take a picture of C.J. Graham and show it to them, they'll look at you and go, who's the clown, right? But if you turn it over to a picture of Jason Voorhees, the hockey mask, Jason. Everybody knows that hockey mask. Kind of crazy. So it's an honor for me, a privilege, to be part of an iconic family with the hockey mask. There's not a lot of us. And, you know, it's kind of cool to do something different and special.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure, man.
Honor.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you very much.